Are you so wrapped up in your to-do list and your busy schedule that you've lost your feminine essence? This is a question that I've started asking myself, asking clients, asking the women in my life, right? And I think it's a conversation that we as women need to have. As a licensed healthcare practitioner that works specifically with women, I have noticed that the ladies out there are just more and more burnt out. And I'm thinking about it, we're busier than ever, right? What woman that especially a woman in like midlife, if she's a mother, she's maybe a wife, she has a relationship, maybe she has pets, she probably has a full-time job. What woman is not juggling a very busy schedule, running here, running there? What modern woman is not spread a little too thin these days, right? And so if you think about what is feminine essence, I want you to think about a woman that you admire. It could be someone you idolize, maybe like a famous person or an actress or something, or maybe someone that you just admire. And there could be multiple reasons why, right? I mean, of course, maybe it's because she's beautiful, but maybe she's really intelligent, or maybe it's because she's strong. Maybe she has this unshakable amount of grace and dignity that she always brings to every situation. Maybe she has a beautiful fashion sense and always looks elegant. I mean, maybe she's very well spoken, right? Or maybe she's all of those things. So think about this woman that you admire. Well, those qualities that we love and appreciate in women and in ourselves, that's feminine essence, right? It's that thing, that life force, that essence, that beauty, that thing that we have that differentiates us from men and from robots, right? The special thing that makes us a woman. And it's, yes, okay, looks and, are part of it, but not just that. I'm talking about that inner, like that spark that every woman has if she taps into it. And you can tell when a woman has this because she usually is radiant, right? And we all have good days and bad days, but just think about that woman you admire. Most of the time, she probably has a certain degree of radiance, right? She might have a confidence, or maybe she's really loving and nurturing, or maybe she has a really warm energy, or maybe she's really feisty and like speaks her mind and, is sassy with people and just kind of says whatever she wants. I mean, whatever it is, all of those things, that's our feminine essence, right? And that's something that makes us unique as women. And that's something that when we are tapped into, it's like lifeblood. It's like well-being. It's like roots reaching down into the earth and pulling up water and nutrients, right? It's what sustains us. And when a woman is tapped into this, you can just tell she has that glow. And when a woman is not tapped into this, you can also tell, right? Because she's tired. She's spread too thin. Her creativity is probably dormant or hiding, right? She doesn't have that normal, like we as women just naturally have that goddess luxuriousness that we just kind of, when we're in our natural habitat that's good for us, we just kind of naturally comes forth. And yes, each and every one of us are different. We all naturally have this feminine essence, right? And when we're too worried about being mega productive and all our to-do lists, I like to say that hyperproductivity is the death of femininity, right? And that's not saying that we can't ever get anything done, but we're not supposed to act like robots, right? We're not supposed to run ourselves into the ground. This just isn't healthy for us. And yet we live in a society that expects us to overfunction, and expects us to offer up our feminine essence to be consumed. And I mean, I do lay the blame on men, but I more so lay the blame on society in general and societal expectations, right? Because we live in a society that teaches us that we don't get to have those boundaries, that we just have to offer up our feminine and pick up all the slack, right? I mean, how many women do you know, and this might be you, secretly or not so secretly thinking, hey, if I wasn't here, this place would just fall apart. I am holding this place together by the seams, but you're probably not the person getting all the credit for it. You know what I mean? Whether it's at home or at work, it's usually a male figure getting all the credit for everything. And yet there is a woman behind the scenes holding everything together, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, making sure the calendar, everything's happening according to plan, that everyone's remembering all their appointments, doing the laundry, doing this and that. making the lunches, doing the things that make everything else possible so that other person can shine and thrive, right? Or so that the kids can be well, right? And yet she is last on her list. What about her? You know, it's like, where did her feminine essence go? You can't pour from an empty cup. So once a woman is spread too thin, burnout, depression, anxiety, weight gain, hormonal imbalance, so many of the symptoms that I see in practice, and this is why one reason I really want to talk about this, so many of the symptoms that I see in practice, this is a big underlying root cause. Now, of course, I'm not saying this is the only reason, but I'm saying this is so overlooked in our society. And this is why I want to start talking about this more and more. Because so often we're so honed in on the clinical. Okay, like, what are you eating? What supplements are you taking? How are your hormones? Have you done testing? Are you deficient in anything? And okay, yes, that's very important. I'm not discounting that. However, when all that is taken care of, some women are still not better. And it's like, well, why? But then you look at their life and they're absolutely buried. There's no space for their feminine essence. They're not able to refill their own cup. They don't have boundaries. They don't have space for themselves. They don't have time to recharge, and they think, oh, I can't. And it's like, well, if you want to be well, you're going to have to. And sometimes that comes at the expense of making other people uncomfortable, right? Whether that's your husband, your employer, your coworkers, your friends, your family, people that have certain expectations of you. Sometimes when you're juggling a lot of spinning plates, you have to let one of those plates drop. Because when it comes between you never getting better, you never achieving your health goals, you staying stuck in this physical symptom situation that you don't want to be stuck in anymore, or maybe like mental health issues like depression or anxiety, or just feeling like your spark's gone. Like you just kind of don't care about anything anymore. Like, I just feel about everything. Nothing feels special, right? Would you, when it comes to that, do you want to live like that? No, you don't. And so that's where you have to find a way to get back in touch with your feminine essence. It's so important. And so if you're like, oh my God, I live like a super busy, fast-paced life. I can't just quit my job. I can't just quit being a mom. I can't just quit being a wife. I can't just quit this or that, whatever the thing is that's just draining you. You're going to have to rethink how you're running your own life, because you're in charge of your own life. You're your CEO. You're the lead character in your own life. But are you living it that way? Because so often we are taught to outsource our power to others, to outsource our decision making to others, right? It's kind of ingrained in us in little girls growing up. Be a good girl, listen to what the adults are saying. The adults know better, the men know better, right? Even if they're not saying it like that. And I'm not saying all men, I'm just saying, like, you get what I'm saying, right? I'm just saying society is still set up that way. And it's so insidious that we don't even really question it because we're all programmed that way. So my advice to you as a woman is you're allowed to make people uncomfortable by laying down boundaries. Now, I know you can't necessarily just change everything in your life, and certain obligations are going to be that way. But there's usually more wiggle room than you think within those roles. And you can drop the low-hanging fruit. You can start saying no to people. You can start implementing boundaries. You can take back some of that space for you. You can find times, even if just small increments of time, to decompress and come back to yourself. Because if you've been feeling scattered and burnt out and like you're not even a woman anymore, you're just like a robot trying to push through, your feminine essence is critically low. And would you continue to drive your car if it had no gas or oil in it? No, you would refill it. You would refill it. So why are you doing that to yourself? Trying to drive this car, this nice, amazing car you've got there. You're trying to drive it when it's low on oil and low on gas, right? And that's an issue that we as women are facing on a massive scale. So what is something, my challenge to you, what is something, you can even start small, What is A? Something you can say no to. And I tell my clients, if you can't just all of a sudden start saying no because you're kind of a people pleaser, at least just don't say yes immediately. Start with, I'll have to check my calendar. Maybe. Okay, a little less scary. And then what's one thing you can do for yourself? On, like, let's say a weekly basis, what's one thing you can commit to that's for you? It's not a duty or an expectation or something that someone else or society or your husband or your kids or anyone else has placed on you. Something that you can do for you that puts you in touch with the woman that you maybe left behind along the way. For me, it's what would my 16-year-old self like? What would bring her joy? What would have made her happy? That's the yes, right? So what's something like that that you can start doing now to start refilling your feminine cup and get your feminine essence back?